There are a number of different places where you can obtain topographic maps. I like to use the tool from the U.S. Geological Survey. It has a funky address, but if you Google USGS Topo View, then it takes you to this address with the ngmdb.usgs.gov and then backslash Topo View. I don't know why, but if you try to just type usgs.gov/Topo View, it doesn't want to work for you. So that other stuff is important. Once you get to here, then you go to Get Maps and get your topograph maps here. Now, this is where I obtain maps for either the general maps that we'll look at in some of the other videos that I'll make, or even for some of the GIS applications where I will bring in a topographic map. All right, so I kind of know some of the areas that I'm interested in, but you can always search for locations right up in here. And then it also has access to all of the different series of maps that U.S. Geological Survey makes. And so for most of the exercises that we're going to be doing, we're going to be looking at the 1 to 24,000 maps. Those are going to be those guys. The 1 to 63 is the 15-minute maps. And then the 1 to 250,000, those guys are going to be the 1 degree by 2 degree maps that they've developed. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just using my scroll wheel to start to zoom in a little bit to this area that I'm interested in. And it shows all of the areas that are mapped, but I'm going to be looking specifically for the 1 to 24,000 maps. And there they all are. And so I can continue to click and pan around as I like, or just use the wheel tool on my mouse and start to zoom in a little bit. And so here we are. You'll notice that the overlapping areas are a little bit wonky. And that's because we're looking at maps that were produced all the way from 1880 all the way up to our current maps. And so I do know that when I was growing up, I was on Simi Valley East. So I'm going to click on that map. I get the little icon there. And it used to be called Santa Susana, and then it was called Simi Valley East. Now, the traditional U.S. Geological Survey topographic maps have this HTMC associated with them. In one of the other videos, I'll just show you what the U.S. topo maps look like. They are perhaps a little bit more simplified, but I feel like they've lost some of the detail to them as well. They do look, they're all digitally produced. And so they are probably a little bit cleaner, whereas these HTMC files, they're just scanned. They're printed, and these are the scanned files. Now, when you click into one of these, right, so I'm looking like, why do I have 3 different ones of the same thing? Good question. I can't answer that for you. But when you click into one of them, it kind of does some interesting things, right? So you can download the JPEG. That's a regular old JPEG file. If you're wanting to use this in a GIS, for example, an ArcGIS, then the GeoTIFF is your way to go. And I don't remember if it shows you the color or if it's just the map. I think it might be just the map data, which is what you'd want. There's a few other sources that I use. When I am going to be demonstrating things for you guys, I'm going to be downloading the PDF. You download these guys, sometimes they are the straight up files, sometimes they have been compressed in a compressed file folder, and so you just need to undo those. The KMZ files are files that can be viewed in Google Earth. Honestly, I haven't tried it yet, but that's what our KMZ files usually do. So we can zoom in, we can pan around, we can show, although showing really just kind of like highlights this area. Right? But yeah, that's where we're able to go in and download those maps. Now, let's say that oh, there we go. So it is going to show a little bit of what that map is covering. Oh, my home map. Love it. Okay, if we are wanting to look at some of our different maps, it is going to be showing us, for example, the 1 degree by 2 degree maps, and those are all going to be outlined here. And as we get out far enough, or too far, you can start to see the different lines. There we go, good. Showing those different maps that we have. Okay, and that's going to be the 250,000. If you're looking for your 15-minute maps, you would click on these guys, and that again is going to be that same area. Well, it's going to grab the neighbor. So there we go. It's going to be that same area, except it's going to be covering 4 times as much space, and that's going to be their maps. Now, all of these maps were made a long time ago. The only ones that they're really keeping up with the where'd it go? With the other updated types of topos, those guys are really only going to be the US topos. Those are going to be your more current ones. The other ones, I don't think that they are still keeping those updated and maintained. The older guys, though, do have a lot of value to them. They do have a lot of historical context, as well as a lot of details of the things that were at least there in 1951. Hope this helps, and I hope you enjoyed.